Let me tell you about one of the most underrated, misunderstood, and scientifically backed supplements out there. It's not some new miracle compound. It's not trendy, it's not flashy. It's been around for decades, and most people wrongly assume it's just for bodybuilders or professional athletes. But it turns out that creatine is one of the most researched supplements on the planet, and its benefits extend far beyond the gym. And if you're like me, someone constantly trying to stay ahead of any possible health decline, creatine might be the thing you've been overlooking. Now, if you're someone who deals with health anxiety, like I do, then you know what it's like to constantly scan your body for signs of something going wrong. You worry about energy levels, memory, fatigue, muscle loss, heart health, you name it. And as we get older, these concerns don't go away, they intensify. The good news is that creatine supplementation might help address a surprising number of those concerns. First, let's talk about what creatine actually is. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound found in your muscles and brain. It's made up of 3 amino acids: arginine, glycine, and methionine. Your body produces some of it on its own, and you can also get small amounts from animal-based foods like red meat and fish. But the amount you get from diet is relatively small, maybe 1 to 2 grams per day if you're eating a lot of meat, and that's assuming your digestion and absorption are optimal. Supplemental creatine, usually in the form of creatine monohydrate, can top off your body's creatine stores, allowing your muscles and brain to function at their full potential. And that's where things get interesting. Most people associate creatine with building muscle, and yes, it absolutely helps with that. But the benefits go far beyond aesthetics or performance. Creatine supports muscle strength, endurance, and recovery. But those are critical elements of healthy aging. As we get older, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. This muscle loss contributes to frailty, falls, reduced mobility, and even an increased risk of mortality. For people over the age of 40, and especially over 60, this decline can be rapid if not addressed. In numerous studies, creatine supplementation has been shown to help older adults maintain and even increase lean muscle mass, particularly when combined with resistance training. And before you tune out thinking you're not a gym person, this doesn't require lifting massive weights. Even walking with light dumbbells, bodyweight squats, or home resistance bands count. When creatine is added to the mix, the muscle-preserving effect is amplified. That's huge. Muscle isn't just about looking fit. It's about living independently, walking without pain, picking up your grandkids, preventing falls, and reducing hospitalizations. But what really piqued my interest, and might catch yours too, is the growing body of research showing creatine's benefits for brain health. Creatine is not just for muscles, it's for your mind. Our brains use a lot of energy, and creatine helps replenish ATP, the body's energy currency, which supports cognitive function, especially during tasks that require quick thinking, memory recall, or mental endurance. In fact, several studies have shown that creatine can improve working memory, reduce mental fatigue, and possibly even protect against age-related cognitive decline. There's even some preliminary research showing that creatine may have a protective effect against neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, though more data is needed in those areas. But for someone like me, who's constantly worried about losing my mind, it's comforting to know that creatine is doing some behind-the-scenes work to help me stay mentally sharp. And here's something that surprised me. Creatine may help with mood and mental health too. There's emerging evidence that creatine supplementation could improve symptoms of depression, especially when used alongside conventional treatments. It seems to enhance energy metabolism in the brain and may increase the efficacy of certain antidepressants. For those of us who've ever dealt with anxiety, depression, or just the general mental fatigue that comes with modern life, this is a big deal. Now let's talk about energy and fatigue. If you feel like you're dragging through the day, even if you're sleeping and eating well, creatine could help. Again, it comes down to ATP. More cellular energy means better performance, not just physically but mentally. People who take creatine often report feeling more energetic and resilient, both in workouts and everyday life. Another benefit? Creatine may help with bone health. While the direct effects on bone density are still being explored, there's good reason to believe that by improving muscle strength and activity, creatine indirectly supports stronger bones through resistance to loading forces. We know from plenty of studies that mechanical stress from muscle contraction helps maintain bone mass, and creatine boosts that muscle force. And what about the heart? Creatine has been studied for its potential cardiovascular benefits, including improved exercise capacity in people with heart failure and protection against ischemic injury. The data isn't conclusive yet, but it's promising. And for those of us who spend way too much time worrying about our heart rhythms or chest sensations, anything that might help cardiac function, even in a small way, gets my attention. Let's touch on another thing we hypochondriacs often obsess over: blood sugar and insulin sensitivity. Some research suggests that creatine, especially when combined with exercise, can improve glucose tolerance and increase the activity of GLUT4, a protein that helps transport glucose into cells. This may be beneficial for people concerned about metabolic health, prediabetes, or energy crashes after eating. Okay, now that I've hopefully convinced you that creatine is not just for gym rats, how do you actually take it? The gold standard is creatine monohydrate. It's been studied for decades. It's safe, it's cheap, and it works. You don't need any fancy blends, flavored powders, or creatine esters. Just get plain micronized creatine monohydrate. You can mix it into water, juice, a smoothie, or even your morning yogurt. As for dosage, the most common and effective protocol is 3 to 5 grams per day. Some people choose to do a loading phase, 20 grams per day for 5 days to saturate their stores faster, but it's not necessary. You'll reach full saturation in 3 to 4 weeks with daily use of 3 to 5 grams, and there's no rush if you're in this for long-term health. I take 5 grams every morning with my breakfast. It dissolves easily and is completely tasteless. Just don't mix it in hot liquids, as that can degrade the creatine over time. You can take it with or without food, though some evidence suggests insulin, from a meal, may help with uptake. Now you might be wondering, is creatine safe? This is a fair concern, especially if you're like me and Google side effects obsessively. The good news is that creatine has one of the best safety profiles of any supplement ever studied. Decades of research involving thousands of participants show no adverse effects on kidney function, liver function, or cardiovascular markers in healthy individuals. That includes long-term studies where participants took creatine daily for years. Of course, if you have existing kidney disease or other serious medical conditions, talk to your doctor before starting any supplement. But for most healthy people, creatine is as safe as a daily multivitamin, possibly safer in fact. Some people experience mild bloating or stomach discomfort in the first few days, especially if they start with a loading phase or take it on an empty stomach. But for the vast majority of people, there are no side effects at all. And once you're saturated, your body just maintains the level. It doesn't keep accumulating creatine endlessly. For vegetarians and vegans, creatine is especially important because it's found naturally in animal products. That means plant-based eaters often have lower creatine stores to begin with. Supplementation can level the playing field and potentially provide an even bigger cognitive and muscular boost. So if you're serious about staying strong, staying sharp, and staying ahead of the aging curve, and if you're someone like me who is constantly looking for ways to control the chaos of health anxiety, creatine is low-hanging fruit. It's cheap, it's safe, it's easy. It helps your body, your brain, your mood, your energy, and your muscles. And it's one more tool in the toolbox of doing everything in your power to stay healthy for as long as humanly possible. I used to think of creatine as something for gym bros. Now, I see it as a daily investment in my long-term health, my mental clarity, and my peace of mind. And honestly, peace of mind is what we're all really after, isn't it?